here we are. It is December 1st. Wow. Wow. We're officially in the last month of the year. And I am so excited to be going through this month, going through today, this episode, and really sharing more about my process of how I finished the year and how I set myself up for success in my business, how I support my clients to set themselves up for success as we are finishing 2022 and beginning 2023. I feel like creating a strategy and a plan for the year ahead can feel like this big overwhelming thing. And I had a really cool conversation on one of my office hours actually last week. And I dove into talking about how to hold the energy and finish the year strong. And I was talking about connecting to our purpose, connecting to our why, connecting to why we do what we're doing, and really being able to dig deep to plug in. But we also had a vulnerable conversation, and one of the beautiful people that were on the call shared that she was working on a plan, but that she also felt like some hesitance and some resistance to putting this plan together, because when we have a plan, then really we follow through on it. But the reason why she felt resistance was because she was like, well, I've made a plan before and then the plan didn't work. And I feel like this is the thing for so many of us. There can be this resistance around creating a plan that we're coming up with as we're heading into the new year, because then we're like, what if I make a plan and the plan doesn't work? What if I make a plan but the plan doesn't work? But the thing is this, there's actually a couple layers of this that I want to touch on. One, when we don't have a plan, when we're going into the new year just with like an overarching goal and an idea of how we're going to be able to achieve that, we're going to be in a constant state of guessing what to do in our business. We're always going to be like, oh, what am I going to do this month? What am I going to do this week? What am I going to do today to be able to move the needle forward and to get to where I want to go? Where am I going to get clients? How am I going to build my community? What content am I going to put out there? What offer am I going to create? All these things keep coming up, and consequently our energy is very spread on all different things, and we constantly try something new to get to achieve the result that we want. So that is the one thing that isn't great about not having a plan. But the other thing around that too is that when we're always doing things differently in order to be able to welcome clients, we continuously retrain our audience on our own process. So rather than creating a strong client experience and a strong client journey and a strong path that can hold us and guide us, we're constantly changing things, which means that we're constantly doing something new. And whenever you're doing something new, it takes up more energy for you, and you're just building up the confidence to be able to do it. And at the same time, we're getting our audience used to it, and they might not be able to keep up with the way that you're doing things. So if you're constantly changing the way you're trying to get clients, it's like you're starting the process to gaining momentum again and again, which actually makes it really difficult to build long-term sustainable success and to bring ease into your business and flow into your business. So as much as you may think having a plan can one feel a bit scary, because what if it doesn't work? And the second piece, having a plan will box you in, or then you can't be creative. I want you to know that this plan gets to feel amazing. This plan gets to feel awesome. And the plan that I'm creating, the plan that we're doing, the strategies that we're coming up with will be really in alignment with how you desire to feel, in alignment with your values, in alignment with your process, and also leaves room and space in the way I do it for you to refine and adjust. And I called it like mining diamonds when I was talking about it on the live. So this process of business planning that I'm using, and then how we're able to execute this plan, implement, execute, integrate this plan in 2023 still allows space for us to refine the process, while actually having something that can really powerfully hold us and creates a strong experience and a strong path that will be training our clients on in order for them to be able to come into our world, which is really, really cool. So this is how I love to do business planning. And the thing is, it gets to be fun and it gets to be light and it gets to be really, really different. So last week, I already kind of started this conversation by talking about the power of intention. And I asked you all a question. I spoke about how you desire to feel. And when it comes to business planning specifically, we really want to tune into how do you desire to feel when you get to the end of 2023? How do you desire to feel on December 31st, 2023? What comes up for you? How do you want to feel when you get to the end of your year? Before we're setting any goals, before we're deciding what we're launching, before we're deciding the offers, before we're deciding all of the things, I really want you to tune into how do you desire to feel? Because that gets to be a guiding post on how you're going to be showing up in order to make the goals that you're going to set happen. So I love to start there. How do you desire to feel when you get to the end of 2023? Really think about that. As I've been reflecting on this, I can tell you now, after having sat down and letting this sink in and think about it, the way I desire to feel when I get to the end of 2023 is light, energized, fun, loved, supported, relaxed, steady, connected, and proud. So those are the emotions that I want to feel. That is how I want to feel when I get to the end of the year, which means that throughout the year, the way I build my business, the way I show up, the things that I do to reach my audience, like podcasting, for example, all has to be in alignment of that. Doing this, being here, recording this, sharing my wisdom, this to me is fun. It's also a very relaxing way for me to share because I literally get to express what's in my space. I get to take you into my journey. It feels light and fun and easy, and it feels like something that holds me steady and also sometimes holds me accountable, to be honest. And I'm really proud of having created this podcast. So you can see how me using podcasting and sharing my story and sharing my skills and sharing my tools through podcasting as one of the ways I'll be attracting clients in 2023 and building brand awareness and building my business is a really, really beautiful thing. And it's in alignment with how I desire to feel. So this is kind of taking a little step further, but this is how it works. But it starts by you getting clarity around how do you desire to feel. So how do you desire to feel? That is the beginning of reverse engineering a business strategy for us that feels really good and creating a plan that really helps you feel held and supported and safe and gives you certainty and the confidence to know that you're going to be moving through your year and you're going to be able to hit your goals. You're going to be able to create the experiences that ultimately lead clients and into your business and have them turn from prospects into clients, from people in your community into paying clients, from people that listen to your podcast into paying clients, into your world, and into people that buy from you again and again and again and again. That is the beauty of this. So we are able to build these beautiful aligned plans. But in order to do that, we start with the feeling. We start with feminine energy. We start with the flow. We start with the emotion, how we want to feel throughout the year, throughout the process, and when we get to the end of the year. So we set a standard. And we get clear on that before we decide the action. So how do you desire to feel when you get to the end of 2023? That is the first question that I ask you to answer. And if you want to take this deeper and you haven't listened to last week's conversation that I had with you around the power of intentions, you might want to listen to that one because this is really, really powerful. How we desire to feel and how we feel as we're building our businesses is really where a lot of the power of creation and manifestation and actually bringing things to life comes from. So this emotion, how you desire to feel at the end, all of that becomes a driving force, becomes a motivator, becomes a guiding light, which is really, really powerful. And it allows us to remain focused throughout the entire year if you choose to stay focused on it. Okay, so that's the first thing. That is the first thing as we're reverse engineering this. The next thing that I like to do once I know how I desire to feel by the end of the year is actually thinking about a theme or word or something that I feel like would be, as I look at how I desire to feel at the end of the year, something that I'm like, that word, that theme feels really powerful for me. I have done this. This is really setting an intention as well here. This is really setting a powerful framework for yourself. And I really, really love it. Last year, my two words were actually had two words. It was abundance and overflow. The year before, it was momentum. And every month I would ask myself, in what ways am I going to be showing up that help me create momentum? Last year was, in what ways am I going to show up that help me feel abundant and like that feel like overflow? And for me, it was a lot about sharing content, giving a lot in 2022. And I really, really enjoyed that. And it's been creating tremendous abundance and overflow for me. So for 2023, as I was reflecting, as I was sitting with how I desire to feel light, loved, energized, fun, relaxed, steady, connected, and proud when I get to the end of the year, I was thinking about what is a word, what is something that feels really powerful to me right now as we're heading into 2023. And I really sat with it for a while, and what really came through for me, and I knew intuitively right away as it came through that this was right for me, was devotion. Devotion. So my word for 2023 is devotion. Devotion. And I reflected on that and I was like, this feels really powerful to me, this word. And personally, it feels powerful for me because I feel like in 2022, I've dismantled or started to dismantle some pillars of stability. And some of those pillars of stability that I had was my relationship, being married. Another pillar of stability that I believed I had was having a home, owning my home. And now I'm a traveling entrepreneur and I love it. I'm like embracing this like nomadic life. And so for me, choosing devotion, as I was thinking into this and feeling into this more so, it's really devotion to my business, devotion to my spiritual practices, devotion to my well-being, and devotion to my relationships that I have. And that means to me that throughout 2023, devotion being really at the heart and soul of my year means that every day showing up for that. And when I looked up the meaning of devotion, I love doing that. It says it is the love, loyalty, or enthusiasm for a person or an activity. And I really, really love that. So it's this devotion, the doing, the devotion I have to these different parts of my life that feels so powerful. So in what ways each day am I devoted to my well-being? In what ways each day am I devoted to my well-being? In what ways each day am I devoted to my relationships? In what way each day am I devoted to my business? So devotion is going to be at the heart and soul for me for 2023. That's the word that I chose. And so within that, there is the devotion. And that devotion to me also extends to really being able to do things in a way that help me continuously feel the way I desire to feel by the end of 2023 and throughout. Light, loved, fun, oh my God, relaxed, steady. I chose these today, connected and proud. In a few weeks, I'll be like able to like really have them going. But this is it. So I have my words. And I have my word, my theme, the main intention, which is devotion. So what is the theme that you want to choose for 2023? What is a word that really speaks to you? Maybe it's growth. Maybe it's momentum. Maybe it is abundance. Maybe you like devotion. I love this. That speaks to me. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's community, connection. What is it? What is it for you? What's a theme and a powerful intention, really, of that theme that you want to set? So for me, it's devotion. So this is where we start. How do you desire to feel at the end of the year? And what is a word or a theme that really resonates and rings true for you that you want to stay true to in 2023? This is really, really powerful because these things become pillars of stability for how you're going to lead yourself. You can be in integrity with these feelings that you have chosen. You can be in integrity with the theme, and you can show up in a way that's in alignment, or you cannot. Most of the time, what I have found when I create these plans based on how I desire to feel, when I create these plans with my intention, my main theme in mind, and then really look at my year, my offers I'm going to have, the ways I'm going to welcome beautiful humans and souls into my community, the way I show up in my business, the way I desire to feel, the way I want my business to support me. Everything, when it's in alignment with that, it feels good and it flows. But the moment I lose sight of that, the moment I lose sight of that, the moment I stop doing the things that make me feel this way and do things that I think I should do, or do things because I've seen it somewhere and it seems like a better way, and I fall out of my own lane and out of my own process, that is the time when things start to get rocky, and when I often see things don't work and the results not coming through the way I want them to. So over time and over years, I really found that the plans that we create that are this intentional and this aligned with how we desire to feel, and aligned with our own truth of what we know to be true that we want about the next year, which a lot of it you see is based on emotional, based on intuition and feeling rather than results first. The moment we're out of integrity with that, things tend to not flow as much. Results tend to take longer to get. So by having this plan based around this, by reverse engineering it first around how we want to feel, and a powerful intention to guide us, the theme to guide us, it really changes the way we're going to start looking at taking action. Because you get to feel all those feelings now, whether you make the money that you want to make, or grow your community the way you want to grow it, or have the amount of clients that you want to work with, or get the amount of speaking engagements you want to get for next year, whatever that might be for you. You get to feel this way now, and we get to feel this way along the way. And the more we feel like it already, the more we feel like we have already what we're looking for, the more we're in alignment with that and live that out and embody that, the faster we're calling the things in that are in alignment with that too. So we want to start with that before we decide how much money we want to make, before we decide how many clients we're getting, before we're putting these tangible goals in place for our plan, which we'll get to. And the next episode, I will be diving deep into some really tangible things to look at for you. But before we go there, we want to set, how do we desire to feel? What is the main theme, the beautiful intention that we can set, the one word, something that we can really look at and be like, this is what 2023 will be about for me, and how can I create things that are supporting that? This is where we start. And then I'll give you one more thing today. Once you have your emotions, once you have how you want to feel at the end of the year, once you decide on your theme, the next thing we got to do is reflect. The next thing we've got to do is reflect. We got to take the time to look back at 2022. And I want you to look at, what are all the actions that you took? What are all the things in your business that you did that actually are in alignment with how you desire to feel by the end of 2023? In what ways did you show up to build your business and your brand that's in alignment with how you want to feel? Maybe you're a speaker, maybe you're podcasting like me, maybe you have social media accounts that you're building and communities that you're building, maybe you're building email lists, maybe you've run master classes, given other free events, other things that you did for people to get an experience to work with you. What are the things that you did? In what ways did you show up to communicate your message, to share your message, to share your expertise that are in alignment with how you want to feel? It's like we want to really like look for the gold here. So if you think about the how you desire to feel as like the shaky thing, it's not what you call it, the pan. How is it? The pan. And we're mining for gold and you go in, right? And then you have all the mud there and you're shaking, 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 and all the like muddy water, all the rocks. It's all the different actions you take, all the things that you did, and all the ways that you showed up for your business. Think about all these things. I want you to think about what was all the stuff that you did that's in alignment with how you desire to feel, that makes you feel that way, right? For me, podcasting definitely is in alignment with feeling fun. Like I love podcasting. I love speaking. It's fun. It's actually something that I find relaxing and energizing. It's light. I love it. I really love it. It makes me feel loved. It makes me feel proud. I'm proud of creating this podcast. I'm proud of the way I'm showing up. I'm proud of the way I'm sharing. So podcasting is one of the things that I know is coming into 2023 with me. But we reflect on all the actions. Notice the actions that you took that felt this way, that yielded maybe some results for you. Notice what actions you did that aren't in alignment with those. Did they create results or didn't they create results? So we really want to look at what worked and what didn't, but we want to use this pan of the emotions of how we want to feel at the end of 2023 to look at it. Filter for that. Draw out the golden nuggets here. Draw out for you what really felt good. We want to get down to keeping the things that felt really good for you last year in 2022 that are also in alignment with what you want to do and how you desire to show up in 2023. So if you're already in business, this is a beautiful way of really drawing out the gold and letting go of everything that's not. And sometimes what you may find is that maybe there is things that worked for you or that yielded a result in 2022, but that are really not in alignment. Maybe there's things that feel really heavy and you desire to feel more lightness. Maybe there's ways in which you showed up that required your full attention and full capacity, but drained you. They didn't energize you. So sometimes things that we do in our business can yield results, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it creates a long-term sustainable business model for us. So were you creating results in a way that needed you to sacrifice your personal well-being? I know I was there, and I've been dismantling my business for months and rebuilding to be able to make sure that as I head into 2023, I'm not going to be there again. So look through this lens. What's in an alignment? What actions are in alignment with how you desire to feel by the end of 2023? And that's where we want to start. Look back at what worked and what didn't. Look back at what yielded results and what didn't. And really start to notice, what are some of the things that worked for you? What are some of the things that didn't? So this is where we want to start. We start by setting and declaring how we desire to feel at the end of 2023. We start by choosing a beautiful theme of word, something that we want to stay connected to. Again, for me, it's devotion. And then we take some time to really reflect through the pen of finding the gold, finding the things that you did, the ways you showed up, the ways you were already building your business that are already in alignment with that, because those things we want to bring into 2023, into your plan, into your strategy. So this is where we start. I am going to be doing the same things with you. I'm going to be looking at what worked, what didn't. I've already started this process, but I'm going to continue to do it in terms of the actions I was taking. What am I keeping? What's going? Some big decisions are going to be made in the next few weeks. So sometimes we have to make difficult choices. We have to learn to listen. We have to learn to really go in. We have to learn to look at what's there and gain the clarity. And so we start big picture. We start with the emotion. We start with the feminine energy. We start with the flow. And now we're using some of the approach of the logic, the masculine energy, the reflecting and looking, and then putting it through this beautiful pan of the emotions that we're calling in, the ways we want to feel. And I'm super excited next week while I'm having you work on these two pieces, which is going to take you a little bit of time. I'm going to have an incredible guest. I'm having an incredible guest, and I'm so excited for me to dive into a conversation with Amber, which you're going to meet. And we are having such a incredible conversation about having it all, about learning to listen to your inner voice, to your intuition, to making bold choices, to going for what you want, to taking some brave actions. And I believe that's going to be a beautiful conversation that will add to what I shared today before we're going to dive into setting the goals, mapping out some of the plans. And that is what I'm going to be diving into for the next episode. So today, I invite you to really reflect. I invite you to get clear on how you desire to feel at the end, the theme that you're going to have for the coming year. If you feel called, please share it with me. Come to my Instagram, tag me at Theresa Lambert Coaching, send me a DM, and reflect. Reflect on the things that you did that are already in alignment, the actions you took that are already in alignment. This is where we begin. Don't skip this step. Don't skip this step. Reverse engineering your business strategy in a way that's going to feel really good and really held and gives you so much peace of mind and certainty and confidence going into 2023 requires you to do this piece. So I'm excited for you to work on this. I'm excited for you to see what's coming through. If you're like, oh my God, Theresa, I don't know, like I'm overwhelmed by all of this, I'm here for you. Reach out to me. Let's have a conversation about what's next for you. I create strategies and plans for people. So if you're like, I really don't want to do this, now is the time to reach out to me and come on board for me to be able to have things ready for you for the beginning of the year. So if that is something that you want to do, again, send me a DM at Theresa Lambert Coaching or head to my website, theresalambertcoaching.com, and contact me that way, and let's have a conversation. But I'm here for you. There's loads of spaces that I'm opening up. The strategic mastermind is coming back. We're going to have a lot of strategic conversation this month inside the CEO club. There's so much beauty to dive into with me and to come into my world now throughout December while I'm in this zone of strategy, in this zone of planning and plotting, in this zone of really supporting my clients to create these beautiful plans and or creating plans for my clients while I'm creating them for me. So if you're like, I want to get there, I want to work on this, but I could really use more support, let's have a conversation, because you don't have to do this alone. I understand that this can feel big and heavy, and it doesn't have to. And I'm going to make it as light as I can. I'm going to guide you through it in the most gentle, most beautiful way that I can for the next few weeks. So this is where we start this week. Next week, you're going to hear from Amber, and you're going to get some extra oomph on why this foundation that I laid with you today is so critical, which excites me. And then we're going to take the next step and then another one, so that as you are finishing December, you will literally have all the pieces and have taken all the actions to create this beautiful plan for yourself that will feel so good. So I'm so excited. Thank you for being here. Cheers to December 1st. Here we go. Now it's the time to plot and plan. And it's going to be a really exciting month. And it's going to be an epic year ahead. I can feel it. And there's so much adventure still to come, because I am going to finish the year in a different country than I am in now. So we are continuing this adventure. We're continuing this journey. And my God, planning, I love it. It's like I hardly want to get off this episode, because I'm like, is there something else I wanted to share? But no, this is where I'm leaving it. I love you all so much. Have the most amazing rest of your day, and I will chat with you on next week's episode. Take care.